Have you ever been to a presentation where the presenter didn't say, oh no, well, something's gone wrong here and we'll have to, and then we blame it on the internet, which it usually is, I swear. So, I was going to use a neat little tool. How many of you have ever used Reflector app? It's actually something you can install on your computer, and then everything that you do on your iPad runs through the computer screen, so I could walk around wirelessly, like I like to pace and do that, and it would all be going to my Mac and up on the screen. Or it would go to a PC. It doesn't really care what you're doing. So if you're a classroom teacher and you're teaching off of your iPad that day, you can wander around, which, as we know as teachers, wandering around is always better than just sitting still. So I'm going to get my wandering around cord out here for us. Reflector. And they are here. The squirrels, they are here. And they would love to see you. I love their name. The squirrels. I get messages from the squirrels. And I'm like, I love getting messages from the squirrels. Because I'm a little squirrely. Okay. So anyway, though, you can still hook an iPad up and get it on the screen. How many of you have ever hooked an iPad up to a screen to project? Okay. That was one of those things. At first, it was kind of difficult. They didn't come out with one of these dongles that allowed you to do it. I guess we're on real time now, so I'll just stop rambling, incoherently at this moment and tell you my name is Sandy Mall. I'm here from Columbus, Indiana. I taught pre through 12 plus grade students, and I also teach some college now in science and special education. And everything that we're going to look at is going to be looked at through a universal design for learning mindset, meaning it works for everybody. I like to qualify this as like the butterfly effect, where if a butterfly flaps its wings in Guatemala, then there is a devastating, that breeze causes a devastating tornado in Columbus, Indiana. That's the butterfly effect. So maybe one kid, we figure out how to use this software for one kid, and then that kid, other people see that student, and many students start to benefit from it. So I wonder why any of us would want to be regular ed teachers when we could all be special. And I think we should all be special and make all of our lesson plans from a special point of view, and then just see who all takes off from that and see how well they do with it. I've got 40 minutes, which may make me talk so fast that I have time left at the end. So I will try and slow myself down and just limit myself to the stuff that I really would like you to see. How many of you guys are old hat at iPads? iPads been around forever and I know everything about them. Sweet, so you're going to think I'm a genius. Okay, I like this. Okay, I'll get started with this with you. I'm going to take you to, and I can't quite get over there, because like I said, I'm a little bit restricted here. You see the gear type thing, right? I'm going to wiggle him around. Oops. No, now we're going to get Siri. Okay. Touch it. Okay, here's my gear. Okay, this is the settings. I'm going to go into there. And the title is, this is Tips, Tricks, and Apps That Everybody Needs to Know. So, one of the first tips I want to show you, and some of these things may be a little bit different when we get down to depending on what version you've got installed. So if you want to know what version you have installed, that's kind of a nice thing to know. The second, it's under General on the right-hand side, the second thing it says is Software Update. If I go there, it'll check for the software update. Oh, this is why I wasn't getting my thing. It must have uninstalled me. I knew there was a reason. Good. I'm going to turn you on just for fun. No, I'm not. We're going to go with what we've got. we are going to, will that tell me? Nope. Software update, and that way I'll be able to tell you which point, whichever I have. I have iOS 1.2 up here, so I'm up to date. There's nothing new for me yet. If you are still in the 7s, a few of these things I'm going to tell you about are going to be just a little bit different. At the very end, I'm going to show you where to go and tell you the name of a place where I've got all of this listed out in more detail, okay? Especially for the one thing I want you to know the most. So while we are in settings, I'm going to tap this general up there and go back. And I'm going to take you to a place near and dear to my heart, which is about the 6th thing on the right, accessibility. This is the most accessible device there is out there. It works. People who are blind love the iPad. It is that easy for them. I mean, that just tells the whole tale. VoiceOver is specifically for the blind, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to look you dead in the eye. Do not turn on VoiceOver unless you are blind or you have been taught how to use VoiceOver. Immediately when I turn it on, it starts giving me things. VoiceOver speaks items on the screen. Tap once to select an item, double tap to activate the selected item, swipe 3 fingers to scroll. Now, do you feel like you're up to that? Today I feel like I am. So I've turned it on, and it's going to tell me VoiceOver is on, but I still have my plugged in over here.
VoiceOver on. Settings.
Come on, baby. Wow. And I'm sure you heard her, but let's just do this.
Notes.
Haha. See, I'm touching buttons already. This is not good. Okay. So watch my screen. I need to tap once.
Blue. Do not disturb. Selected. Sounds. Passcode. Button.
Okay, I'm not looking. I don't have to be
Enter
tapping on
passcode.
that button at all.
Heading.
But as we go there, it wants to know my passcode.
1 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Okay.
Setting. Turn passcode off. Button.
Okay. So I really don't want to be here. And it gets, you know, you have to move things with 2 fingers and do
off.
all of that stuff.
Button.
Yes, yes. So I've got a
Change
shortcut
passcode.
button that turns
Button.
it off for me. 1, 2,
Require
3.
passcode. Immediately.
1, 2.
Button. Home. Utilities folder.
We are not
5
off yet.
apps. Settings. Double tap to open. About. Settings.
And since I can see, I'm going to go accessibility.
Accessibility. Button.
And I'm going to turn VoiceOver.
VoiceOver. On. Settings. VoiceOver. VoiceOver off.
Close your eyes. That's not what I'm talking about when I say I want it to speak to me. Okay? Because the iPad will speak. Turn them all the way up. You notice she was speaking slower. I can make her speak faster, slower with the little turtle. Goes turtle to rabbit. Keep it slow. Speak hints, use pitch change, use sound effects, that's fine. What I really want on is not in here. I'm going to go down back where we first saw VoiceOver, and I want to see speech and speech selection. I want speak selection on. I want speak screen turned on. I could change voices in here. In English, I've got Australian accent, English UK, English Ireland, English South America. They need to make English Southern Indiana, but they don't have that yet. My speaking rate, again, can be changed in here. Highlight content, you want that on. It's best practices. If we're going to have the iPad speaking to students, we want them creating a link between what they're reading and what they're hearing. So, She may be in in a different language even. Okay. So we want it so that it highlights every word as it is read, because that is just as good as a teacher's finger pointing out the word, or mom's finger, or dad's finger, and in teaching a student to read. Without that singling out of the word, we do not have that connection between the sound and the brain. And then they're just getting content by listening, but not also working on their reading skills. All right, I'll get back to why I wanted you to know about all that later. As we go down to the bottom of this, we have at the very bottom of the right-hand side, accessibility shortcut. It's also called guided or it used to be called triple click on. I want guided access in there, and the reason I couldn't get out of VoiceOver was because I didn't have VoiceOver checked. Darn it. Okay, so I've done all those three things. Now we're going to go to an app, and we're going to do guided access. How many of you are familiar with guided access? Will rock your world. Okay. Let me find a little app. Just a little app. Puzzle Chef. I don't know what Puzzle Chef is, but let's see what he does. He had a nifty little fox on him. Okay, this is taking too long. Good job, little fox. We'll be back. All right, I'm going to go to one I know better. I've got this dorky little program I use for this all the time. I just get tired of showing it and finding it. Okay, Writing Wizard. Okay, I'm going to work with some numbers today, and I want my student to stay in the numbers.
1,
Okay. I want my student to stay in the numbers and not to be able to get back out by hitting the home button or anything like that. So, yes, fine. I'm going to push my home button 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and it's not going to respond to me. Happens all the time. Where was I? Okay, we'll use Writing Wizard. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. First thing that's going to come up is accessibility options, and I want it to do guided access. So I push guided access. My screen is going to small down, and I've already been in here, so I'll take these off. What it's going to do is it's going to allow me to block off parts of the screen and make them unusable. So no matter how many times you hit that spot, it will not work with your finger. So I'd like the kids not to play with the mode or the sounds. So I'm going to gray those out. I do not want them to go back to the original screen. So I'm going to gray that out. I'm just using my finger to circle those things. I do want them to be able to play with these. Now, automatically, what it's going to do is it is going to disable the home button. You can't use that anymore. It's going to disable the sound buttons over here. It's going to disable this top on and off button. That's all I'm going to do with it for now. I'm going to tell it to start. I'm going to tell it to start. Oh, got to set a passcode for it. Don't show it to the student. I like to use 1111, but that would be dumb if I was with kids. I just have to be able to remember it the next time I pull up this iPad. So now I can work the program.
1.
Yay! And this is about all it does. But I've left this arrow here
2,
so that I can go on to 2.
29 seconds remain.
Ah, and we're set up for something. Play with the tigers for a bit. Okay, that was
3,
fun. 3.
Guided access time has ended.
Ooh, something else was on there that I didn't show you. Time has expired. Okay, so I can't get out. I've got an iPad that is totally locked up. I can't push this button. I can't push this button. But I know as the teacher, I'll push it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And it tells me a time limit of 1 minute has been set for guided access. Triple click to enter. And it's not liking my triple clicks. 1, 2, 3. Ah.
Do you get to choose the timer?
Yes. And I'm going to show you that. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is scary. Triple click. Okay. Relax some. 1, 2, 3. Take a little breather. Okay. It works, I swear. Okay, so I've got a locked up iPad and issues. I have a backup. Cannot just be turned off. I'm not going to get the apple of doom. Let it relax. Okay. So that's guided access.
I've used it before and it's never done that.
It has never done it to me. It is hilarious. Let me plug in my iPhone. Basically, same business. Okay, so let's go to guided access. Here's one that I haven't even opened ever before. Are we up there yet? Okay. Oh, this isn't fair. Just a few days off. Okay, so here we go. Now, guided access. And I'm going to keep it from logging into Facebook. And I don't want it to go here. And I don't want it to go here. And I can make it bigger. Now, options. The sleep-wake button is off. Okay, I don't want it to be usable. I don't want the volume to be usable. I do want to have motion, key limits. Now down here at the bottom it says time limit. I'm going to turn that on. It's going to give me a time limit between 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And we all know what's going to happen when that goes off. Say done. So now we can play. Oh, I made the cardinal error here. Yes. Oh. And then I push start, and then we can play. My passcode. The second time you do that, it'll be fine. Now, I told you I did the thing I shouldn't have done, and that is before it got to play, I already disabled this. So I've got some areas in there I don't want to have disabled. Okay. So my continue button is gone. 1, 2, 3. I'm out of it. Oh, thank you. that iPad and I are going to have a talk. Okay. I can end it or I can resume it. But now you can hand an iPad over to a student. Oops, I didn't want to do that. You can hand an iPad over to a student, and that student will be stuck in the game you want them to be in for the entire session that you want them to be in it. They can play with it. They can try 1, 2, 3 and start chucking in some codes that they think it might be. What they'll get is a response from the iPad saying, hey, that's the wrong code. You now may not enter a new code for 5 seconds. And then the next time they try it, it'll be 30 seconds, and then a minute, and then 5 minutes, and it'll go up to 30 minutes. What happens when a kid has locked your iPad up for 30 minutes? You've got an iPad that only that game works on for 30 minutes. It's not the worst thing that could happen. They weren't any place they weren't supposed to be. You can take that iPad, you can hand it to another kid who's happy to play that, reinforcement game, that app, for 30 more minutes. Okay, watching carefully.
Can you stop at minimizing get the kids not to minimize the application also?
Yes, if you push this, it will not work. It won't work. The button on the top won't work. Any of it. They can't turn up the volume to an obnoxious level. It's just exactly as you have said it. Another thing I want to show you about on here is Apple Learning. One of the things we always want to find out is where can I find good apps on the iPad? And so this is my favorite place. I just have to find it. If you've been down here, this is the keyhole search. You put your finger down the middle of the screen, run your finger down the middle of the screen, and you get the search. And I type in APPO and Apple Learning. And it's not on here, so let's see if you have decided you're going to behave for me. No, you have not. So I will bring it up on here. Oh, I know where I'll bring it up. How many devices does she have? As many as it's going to take, I tell you. There's a guy I know who tells me that that's going to happen one time. And he's the only person I know who knows how to get it to be off of there if it does that. Okay. Should be blinking any second, and you should see my lovely little stuff. Fabulous. Okay, the site I'm going to take you to is APPO, Learning. Apple Learning. Anybody ever worked with this site before? And neither will we, because success. Apple Learning. Let's get this as big as possible. Yay. It is an app, and you can use it just as that. And I do not have you guys in the best view, so let me fix that. I don't think we're going to hit top 10 on this video, people. Apple Learning. So I want to go all the way back up, and we're going to look on the iPad, and I'll tell you why I like these people so much. iPad, no. It looks about like this. You can choose between grades. Okay, so somebody shout out a grade that they teach. 6th, 7th. Okay, middle school. Kind of hard to find apps for middle schoolers. Then it breaks it down like this. English, social studies, math, science, world languages, fine arts, creative expression. Special needs, productivity. What would we like to look at? World languages. Which world language? Okay, we don't have German, thank you. It's like being back in middle school again. Anything but freshmen. Okay, and what they're going to do is they're always going to give you 5 apps, and only 5 apps. Okay. So we've got Latin pairs, SPQR Latin Dictionary, Latin Match, Latin Hangman, and Latin Tester. They range from any price to free. They don't guarantee that they're going to be free. They guarantee they're giving you their top 5 picks. So they always give you something down here telling a little bit about all of the apps. But if you want to know about the app itself, like Leo here, you click on it. And you don't get the App Store version, because for some reason the App Store version always sounds like exactly what I need. And it never is. Wow, that reminds me of something. Okay. Then they break it down into these same categories for every single app. Why they love the app, what it teaches and how it works, why your kid won't be able to put it down. And then they give it a report card score. This one got a 93. The lowest I've ever seen them have to go to was like a 69 for their 5th one. They base it on educational content. And this one, it lost a dot for adapting to kids' skill level, but it means it still does a little bit. Assessment, it has assessment features in it. And safety and privacy, whether it asks for personal data or whether it exposes kids to external services or advertisers. And those are just, as you go down through here, you know that every one of these you can come up and say, okay, it doesn't do this or it does do that, before you want to spend money on it. And I do like that. And they've got it, as you saw, for every grade level there is out there, and many, except for German, topics. Now, we were in middle school, so let's look at high school. Because if we're learning German, we're going to be learning at the beginning anyway. So perhaps they have it out here in high school. No, 9. No German for you. So there you go. So that is App-O Learning. Another good place I go, and this is so small, is Pinterest. How many of you are pinners? Okay, I'm going to turn you on to one pinner. And I got to meet her, and I was like a little fangirl. I said, ooh, she speaks, it's her. So here we go. I'm going to search Lauren Enders. And, hello, Katie. Nope. Lauren Enders, SLP. That should be her. There she is. Am I on Pinterest? It looks so weird. Okay. I'm going to try this one more time. Much better. If you're on Pinterest, this doesn't even look right. I'm going to show you where to find all this. And I better step it up here. She pins a million things. And all of it I don't think I've gotten to her boards, though. Let me go to a different way to go to it. Okay, here we go. Here are her boards. She has 152 boards with 17,000 pins and 24,000 followers. So anything you want to know about iPads and things, you're going to go through a lot of special ed stuff, speech and language pathologist, but as you get down to the bottom, you're going to start finding free children's book apps, apps for learning ABCs, paid children books apps, multiplayer apps. There aren't very many of those. Reading phonics. If it's out there, she has pinned it, and she continues to pin it. And I was starting to do this, and I found her, and I'm like, aha, job over there. I now have somebody else to do this for me. So Lauren Enders works for me. Mac tips and tricks. She's just insatiable as far as pinning goes. So on Pinterest, I would go to her. There are also other places where you can find free and reduced ones like the Appy Ladies. But my favorite two places are Apple Learning and Lauren Enders. All right, the other thing on the iPad that I would love to show you is how it reads to you. Okay. We set it up. Let me see if I can do that with my phone. But first, before I do that, I'm sorry. I'm kind of been kicked out of my game here by that not turning off. All right. Okay. We are at Patents Project, the people I work for. It is www.patentsproject.com. And from there, I'm going to go someplace that you can't see on here. Okay. From there, you're going to look for Sandy Mall. I'm making it big. There I am down in the southeast. And let's get him back to regular shape. All the way down at the bottom, you see training links and training handouts. I wanted to take you here because this is such a quick presentation. There are a whole bunch of iPad tips and tricks PowerPoints out there for you. So you'll see Chromebook stuff too, iPad for beginners and beyond, and iPad tips and tricks. Everyone should know. It's you guys. Preview it. There's of course going to be some junk in there, but there's also going to be all the good stuff I showed you. Yeah. Did you know? Did you know that one? That's not necessarily one you have to know. But, okay, the guided access, here it is step by step as I went through it. Setting a lock timer. Okay. Here's apps. I talked about Pinterest and Lauren Enders. The Appy Ladies are another place. Applelicious, Appy Mall, Edudemic, Bloom's Taxonomy and Apps. This is just a nice little wheel where they go through all the different modalities as far as apps go. Apps to search for apps, Apple Learning. I.am.search is currently offline right now. Then there's a QR generator. Text Grabber is a very nifty app. It goes up in price between $5.99 and $9.99. Apps are like the stock market. But this, you can take a picture of regular text and it will come up on the screen and you can have it read it. And then you can annotate it. So think about a student taking a test who has to have a test read to them. Take a picture of the test. The iDevice will read the test to them. They can put their answers in. In fact, if you're on an iDevice, they can actually use speech to text, push the little microphone, and talk their answers into it. Very handy if you've got a kid who has problems reading or problems writing. And then there's a little more about QR readers and things like that. Don't worry about signing in. So that's why I wanted to take you there. And I'll show you one more time. You're going to www.patentsproject.com. If you look up Sandy Mall, you'll probably find patentsproject.com too. And from there, just look for my name on the right-hand side of the web page. Click on that, and then you get all sorts of handouts, not just this program, but other ones too. No, resources is something else. Here we go. Let me get you back to that. It looks like this. See the Happening Now box? Right under there is Sandy Mall. I'll show you. Did you find me? Yeah. Any questions for me? Boy, that was a flyby with a major glitch in it. So, thank you.